Talk to me. Let me burn some sage because we're going to get deep tonight. Hey, everybody. Hey, boos. I'm burning my sage. Because we talking about toxic bitches tonight. Hey. Hey, everybody. Sage in my space. Hi, y'all. What's going on? Hurt me up or whatever. Hey, everybody. So we talking about toxic women tonight. Is y'all ready? Happy, what's today? Thursday. Happy Thursday, y'all. How was y'all day? Hey, everybody. So we are talking about toxic women. Because I've been hearing a lot of horror stories lately. Changes oh, let me see. I hope it ain't crazy, is it? Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to see y'all. We talk about toxic women. We're going to talk about toxic women and how they can fuck up your destiny, right? So I'm trying to put y'all D. Because some of y'all is toxic women magnets. Hey, y'all. So, like, I'm just trying to put y'all deep with some of these tactics so y'all can get out the snare quicker. Hey, everybody. So, you said changes. Search for changes. XX Tassion. I hope it ain't no crazy song. Let me see. Hey. Hey, everybody. Hurt me up or whatever. Don't mind my wiggly arm. Oh, my God. Hey, Danita. I miss you, boo. So we talk about... Yo, this is a sad-ass song. I don't know if we can keep... Hey, Mr. Todd. Danita, how are you, my love? Hey, Mr. Weaver. What is it? Tracker? I got it on and it sound sad as hell. It sounds sad. So yeah, so he wanted me to put on changes, right? So we gotta make some changes. So that's why I came on here tonight to talk about I miss you too. Yes, of course. Yo, my number has been the same for like since 2000 and so like 20 something years. No, 10 years. 10 years. Yep, 10 years. So yeah, y'all, we talking about toxic relationships. We're talking about toxic women, right? Thank you. So I just want to put some of my brothers down with some of these toxic women, right? Because we always talk about what men do and all of that kind of stuff. But like, there's the reality is there's a lot of toxic women out here, and they are holding up the destiny of our men, right? And I just want you guys to recognize like toxic relationships, right? Toxic relationships are those where it feels addictive in nature. It's a roller coaster of emotion. Hey, Danae Y. I got my niecey in the house. Who love changes? Who's love changes by? Alright, so we just played changes, which sounds sad. But so yeah, so we gotta make some. Hey, Mr. Raw, Danae Y. We got OG States in the house. I'm an artist, but I do the video funny. You can subscribe with me on YouTube, Doctor. Yeah, drop your link, boo. Yeah, drop your link. I definitely will subscribe. Yes, I have a YouTube channel too, and I'm gonna drop the link, so y'all gotta subscribe. Hey, Miss Duncan, OG Stace in the house. So, hey, Mr. Winston, Mr. Wooten, Born Intelligence. So we talking about toxic women tonight, all right? So we want to talk about how to recognize toxic relationships, right? So toxic relationships are relationships where the relationship goes up and down, like it's tons of emotion, right? And you probably got with this person and it was like magnetic, right? Like it just felt like y'all just had to be together, right? But then the relationship took on a very rocky disposition, right? So it began to be like an emotional roller coaster, right? Like your brain is always like scrambled eggs because like 1 minute everything is good and then the next minute everything is like crazy, right? So we want to recognize, hey. So, hey everybody, heart me up or whatever. So we talk about, hey, level up. Because when level up is in the building, y'all gotta level up. So we talking about toxic women, right? And we talking about recognizing toxic relationships. And I've just been hearing like some horror stories lately. Like women getting guys been put in jail, false allegations, like just in general, like people that I know, a client of mine, just all kinds of crazy stuff, jail time, like false police reports, all kinds of stuff, right? So yeah, those relationships are toxic, right? And oftentimes relationships that take on that nature are karmic, right? And they are there to teach you a lesson. So it probably is a lesson. I will show you live. Thank you, love. Hey. So it's probably more than likely there to teach you a lesson. Something about self-love. Something about not being materialistic. Things like that. Because a lot of times those relationships are based on materialism, right? So a lot of times, especially my guys that are like got a little bit of prestige or a little bit of a name in the hood, whether you're a hood star or just you got a little bit of money, like you tend to attract those women. And until you come into like the thing is this, like we can have flashy cars and nice jewelry and nice clothes and all of that kind of stuff, but if we don't have love for ourselves deep within ourselves, then we don't make good choices, right? So a lot of times the decisions that we make in our relationships are based on our past ancestral patterns, like how our family did it, how they made choices in their relationships. But in this day and age, a lot of us are spiritually awakening, right? And we are waking up to a new way of doing things. So the difference between being awake and being asleep is the fact that whenever you are awake, you realize that you base your life based off of things that you have experienced. And when you're still asleep, you base your life off of things that you were always taught, right? So it's a big difference in that. So as you become to wake up spiritually, you become more divine in nature, right? So when you become more divine in nature, you start to move into your God-given gifts, your God-given mission in life. And a lot of times there's a lot of trials and tribulations that lead up to making that decision to be more tapped into your spiritual side or your more divine self. And a lot of times these toxic relationships are there to teach us that lesson. And once we get through those relationships, we come into a different realization. Like our priorities are different, and we are thinking differently. But I just want to, shed a light. When we are in toxic relationships, make sure you are shielding yourself from just toxicity. Because a lot of times, if you are dealing with women that are drama, getting out of the relationship is going to be drama. A lot of times you stay in the relationship because it is drama. You stay in the relationship out of fear. But I just want to encourage you guys that if you are in something toxic, to get out of it. Don't stay in it, because it's stunting your growth. It's holding up your potential. 9 times out of 10 is fucking up your money if you really look at it. It's messing up your money. It's holding you back from just really moving ahead. So I just want to kind of like shed a light. And if any of you find yourself, say, in a cycle of a relationship that you know you're not happy, there's fear associated with getting out of the relationship. The relationship feels like an addiction or codependent. Like there's some form of the relationship that requires you to be dependent on them or them to be dependent on you. Those are what codependent relationships look like. And we just really want to be careful, right? Because the stories I've been hearing, like, it's black magic being used on people, like the lies that are just like really destroying people's lives. So I just really want to encourage you guys to protect yourself. Protect yourself. Mind who it is that you're sleeping with, right? Just because they got a pretty face doesn't mean that they're worth your time. Because sometimes y'all think that y'all are the ones that's in control, when really they are the ones that's manipulating the whole situation. Because they already got a plan coming into it. So if you find yourself in a toxic situation, I'm just going to encourage you, like, start making your moves to get out. Men have to stop chasing women who don't have their best interest at heart. Right, Joe Douglas, you're exactly right. Because the thing is this, if from what I'm starting to hear about some of these women, like, not only do they not have your best interest at heart, they're narcissistic in nature. So, like, they don't care nothing about you. Like, they will lie. And what I was saying is, like, there's a difference between, like, divine feminine females and then distorted females. Distorted females have not come into they haven't tapped into their divine energy. And divine energy is the female energy, right? So female energy is all about intuition. It's about going with the flow. It's about receiving love. It's about being unconditionally loving, right? So before women have tapped into their divine feminine side, they are toxic in nature. They can be very, very toxic in nature. And if they don't have any type of, well, a lot of times they fake spirituality, but you really know who they are at the core. If she's allowing you to just do anything and everything, and she's your ride or die, and she go for anything, you may want to reconsider. Like, in this day and age, like, we do not want to be getting in relationships where I could just do whatever it is that I want to do, right? Because if you're in a relationship where it's an open relationship and you could do what it is that you want to do in that relationship, like, where is the respect, you know? Where is the love truly? Because being in a relationship where there's equal respect and there's equal love and there's a partnership, like, at this point in our lives, that is what we want to be looking for, right? And it should be even give and take. Most toxic relationships, if you really step back and look at it, you know that it's toxic because you're overgiven, right? And they're not giving enough, right? And a lot of times that is the purpose of the relationship, is to cause you to come to a realization that I need to put myself first, right? And I need to put things that matter to my soul first. Because a lot of times these relationships, they always are. They're very materialistic in nature. Most times the women are gold diggers, right? So they're out for something. Mr. Douglas said, at the same time, when men find a woman who does have their best interest in heart, oh my God, preach about it. The men must be man enough, and yes, the men must be man enough and whole enough to do their part as well. That's very, very true, Mr. Douglas. So I also want to encourage us, like, when we are meeting women, like you said, meeting women that are worth the time. Like, I could preach about that all day, but she won't. But yeah, I consider myself to be a very good... Hey, Kiki! Hey, Pooh! Hey, T! Hey, Kiki! So, we talking about toxic women, right? And Mr. Douglas was saying how a lot of times men have women that have their interest, their best interest. Well, first he said we have to stop choosing women that don't have our best interest at heart, which is right. And that requires being connected to your heart, right? Because a lot of times men are taught that they can't have emotions, you can't feel your emotions and things like that. So guess what? You make decisions with your head. You make decisions with your logic, or you make decisions with your other head, right? Because a lot of toxic relationships are based off of like what they feel like is sexual energy. But a lot of times these toxic women, like they're not full of goodness, right? Like a divine feminine, because they're distorted. So they're not full of goodness and love and forgiveness and gratitude. Like, they're full of the toxic energy that they create in the relationship by doing shit like cheating on you, fucking your friend, stealing your money, what else? Cheating on you. Did I say that? Oh yeah, fucking your friend, stealing your money. You know, just anything. And what they really do is they keep you stuck, right? They keep you stuck from moving forward, because that's their point. They're almost like they're sent in your life to create situations where you can become your best self, right? But I'm trying to help y'all speed up the process, because like these women are toxic. And this conversation was sparked because I've just been hearing so many crazy stories about women doing all kinds of stuff, getting people arrested. I mean, like pregnancies, like planned pregnancies and you know, things like that, purposely setting traps to keep people from getting to where it is that they need to get to in life. And it's just crazy. So yeah, I want my brothers out there to protect yourselves and pray. Like, really pray over yourselves. If you feel that, if you're feeling off, like if your energy is off, because if people are using like negative energies to like come against you and do things like that, you're going to recognize it in your energy level. Like, if you notice, if you're around a person and all the time whenever you're around them, they drain you, you want to be paying attention to that. Because those types of women, they're very low vibrational. So they vibrate in a very low vibration. And when their energy is attached to your energy, they keep you in a low space. But as you start to ascend and get over things like lust, money, and materialism, like Joe Douglas said, are the wrong things to focus on and are always susceptible to change. Right, exactly. So the thing is, like, right now in this day and age, like, we just really want to be more mindful of like where our focus is as it relates to our relationships, because no longer do we have the time to be spending time and energy with the wrong people, right? Because people nowadays, like, they don't care. Like, they don't care if you die. These women don't give a fuck about you. They're the type of women that, like, when the money is gone, they're gone. Like, if everything is not working out great, then they're going to keep it pushing. But they're going to stay there. And it's the same, like I talked about narcissistic men, you know, they're going to stay there as long as there's a benefit for them, right? Because they're only in it for whatever they can benefit. But coming out of the relationship is scary, because they're also the bitches that get you all hemmed up in the game. They run back to the community. They want to tell everybody. They want to lie, right? They want to say that you did what they did. So yeah, I want you guys to just stay prayed up, and I want y'all to be making good decisions. And I want y'all to not be like, don't allow your pride to keep you in a situation that's just not good for you. Because it's not, at the end, it's not worth it. Because the new thing, like, I'm just new to this, is like the whole black magic thing. Like, people using black magic, and like that stuff is serious. Like, people be like, I don't believe in it. Well, believe in it, because it's serious, and it has to do with your energy. So like, you really have to be just mindful of like the people that you are attaching to, and when you know they're not good for you, like don't even play around with the enemy. Like don't sleep with the enemy. Like, I'm here to say it's not worth it. Get out that bitch's bed, okay? It's just really, really not worth it. Excuse my French, but talk that shit. Where was you 5 relationships ago? Is love. Thank you. I'm so okay. You know what? Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm not just on here like rambling. I'm glad I'm making sense. Being in and reaching a certain level in the drug game, I've experienced. Yeah, how many women and men value me when I was on top? Exactly. Then saw how fake it was when the feds got me up. Exactly. Like, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all. Like, I knew there was like bad people in the world, but like over these last few months going through a spiritual awakening, just realizing that there's a lot more going on spiritually than I once thought. Like, I'm just like, people are cold hearted. So let me just say, if they toxic, don't waste your time with them. Get out, run fast, right? Because the quicker you reject what it is that you don't want, the quicker you bring in what it is that you do want. Like, those types of relationships are karmic relationships. They're here to teach you something in life that has something to do with your values, right? And then also too, it shows you like what generational or ancestral cycles that you need to break, because a lot of times the decisions that we make in relationships are based on what our past generations did. So now, in this time of a great awakening, a lot of us are spiritually awakening, and a lot of us are realizing that we are a part of the 144,000 that were sent here to be a light, to bring about a message of love, unconditional love, to just be a light in the world, right? So there are a lot of divine masculines that are awakening, meaning men who are called to a greater purpose in life. Like, those of y'all can't sleep at night, 3:30 in the morning, 3:33, 3:37, 4:44, 4:43. Y'all waking up at night, y'all can't sleep. That is God. That is the universe waking y'all up. It's a time of a great, great awakening. So a lot of us are realizing that, like, our relationship choices were crazy. We're starting to realize that, like, people aren't who we thought that they were. We're starting to lose friends and all of that stuff, because God is calling you to a higher level, to an ascension. And ultimately, we are coming into a greater level of what it is we're called to do on this earth. So we're all gifted to do something. So the good thing about 2020 is that during quarantine and COVID, guess what? A lot of us had to sit down and tap into our gifts, right? A lot of us went through spiritual awakenings. How do we know that? Because we was dealing with past traumas. We was dealing with past hurts. We was having to sit down with ourselves and deal with shit from the past, right? We started doing shit like losing friends. We started healing family relationships, losing family. Just recognizing that there's more to life than what I've been doing. Like, realizing that, like, yo, this is a hamster wheel and I got to do something different. So for those of y'all who are like a little bit confused or just like, what the heck is going on? Y'all are going through an awakening, right? So it's like we have a divine side, and then we have a distorted side. The distorted side is who we are whenever we're still just living life according to what it is that we were told. So we're doing things the way our family always did it, or we always saw, basically the way we always saw our family do things, right? And then now we are starting to experience life different. God is starting to download our gifts. Like, a lot of times, like, you're up, like, people are starting to dream dreams. People are starting to write, right? Writing poetry, writing stories, writing movies, things like that. God is waking up our gifts, right? So, like, a lot of divine masculine are starting to awaken to what it is that they are called to do. And I just want to encourage you guys, like, y'all are here for a purpose. Like, the world needs whatever it is that is in your belly, whether it's to teach, whether it's to make music, whether it's to make movies, whatever it is, I'm encouraging you guys to do it. If nobody ever said, like, do it, you have support, I'm just going to say do it, because now is the time. Now is the time of a great, great, great awakening. So we got to get out of these toxic relationships. They are karmic cycles sent here to teach us a lesson. So we need to learn these lessons. And most times after you come out of that relationship, like, that's when your dream relationship is there. You've learned so much. So now you're looking for something different. You value something different. And you know what I mean? You start to make better choices. Many of us, both men and women in the Black community, suffer from trauma, absolutely, of our upbringings, and have to come to grips with that and conquer that before we can have a healthy relationship. Absolutely. So a lot of times, Mr. Douglas, this is your first time on here. Welcome. But I do talk a lot about how our childhood has shaped who it is that we are. It even shapes our, decision making, right? So say for me, for example, I've been in relationships where, for me, like my family, we were all about love. So love is the best thing. So you go broke for love and things like that. Other people, like, may have been raised that, like, no, like, you go for what makes sense. You go for what makes logical, financial sense. And even if we're not happy, we're going to stay together because this looks good on paper, right? So now, as we're starting to awaken and God is getting y'all more in touch with your divine side, like, material things don't matter, right? And we talk about an ego death. Ego death is when you realize that, like, yeah, all of the things that I used to protect myself, to make me feel like I was the shit, right? All the things that I used to dress up, but yet and still I wasn't dealing with what was going on in the inside. Like, yeah, we're being forced to deal with what's going on in the inside. And a lot of times, what's going on is there's a little boy or there's a little girl that was stunted from our childhood. Some type of trauma, like Mr. Douglas said, that happened in our childhood, and we are still stuck in that mindset. So those of us that have been through abuse, right? Sexual abuse, physical abuse. Those are people, abandonment issues, parents that may have been on drugs or things like that, people that were raised in the foster care system, all types of things. Like, we develop all different types of attachment styles. We love differently, and all of those things. So it's like we have to recognize how it is that we were raised and how it affects us now. Because a lot of times, men who choose toxic women had toxic women growing up, right? So that toxicity, like, that was familiar. So you go out and you pick somebody that is familiar. And we don't always realize that they're toxic because they look nice on the outside. They so sweet. They'll do what I say. They're so just that and the other. But really, we were attracted to that person because they had the same toxic energy signature as our mom, our grandmom, our aunts, right? So it's like, as we start to awake, we start to step back and say, you know what? I want to continue this cycle. And the beautiful part about that is, as we begin to change and make different decisions, right? Then we make it better for our children. So say me, for example, right? So I have a daughter and I have a son. So let's see. So something that I would struggle with would be, or something that I had to learn karma, was always feeling like you need to be in a relationship, right? So that's something that women could, like, struggle with. So, like, all the women in your family felt like they had to have a man to be okay, right? So the women weren't raised, hey, Miss Joy. So the women may not have been raised to be independent, right? They may have been raised to always feel as though they had to have a man, or a man makes my happiness, or a man validates me, right? So the way that looks negative is because then you will pick a guy, right, who is going to play on the fact that you need that validation. But then after you get into the relationship, that same validation that made you fall in love, then they're going to withdraw it, right? And then it's going to be a constant roller coaster, which is going to continue to fuck with your head, right? But because you feel like you need to be in a relationship and you have to be in a relationship in order to be happy, guess what? You're going to stay in that relationship that's not doing anything good, but y'all just doing a toxic dance. Like, he's not getting any better, you're not getting any better, y'all health is declining, y'all finances is not good, you know what I mean? So then at some point, if you in the relationship start to realize that, you know what, this isn't for me, like, I need to do better. Another thing that karmic cycle that people need to break in their relationships is getting into the relationship and being the overgiver, right? So some of us get into the relationship and we're just like, we just want to do everything and be everything, and then we realize that we got with somebody that it wasn't equal give and take, right? That drains you. That starts to drain you. That keeps you from moving ahead. It keeps you from moving forward. But as we start to recognize those things, and most times what we realize is when we look back, we're like, oh my God, like all the women in my family did that, or all the men in my family did that. You know what I mean? So now, the beautiful thing is, now it's time for us to recognize those things and make those changes. Because as we make changes, we affect generations and generations and generations to come. So it's very, very worth the change that needs to be made. So for anybody that's just kind of like a little stuck, or just trying to figure out like what the heck is going on with my life, like everything is going crazy, I'm losing friends, like jobs is falling through, all of that, yeah, God is destroying your old life because he's going to give you a new life. That's the beautiful thing. He's going to give you a new life. He's going to give you a beautiful divine feminine that isn't distorted. So she is all about love, unconditional love, and she's nurturing. The divine feminine spirit is very nurturing. She's almost like the mother, and the divine masculine spirit is like the father. So the divine masculine spirit, energy, they're all about stability, right? Stability, being a giver, right? They are providers. They are the father energy, right? So as we destroy that ego, we get into our more divine selves. And that's where we want to be. That's where we want to operate. So yeah, you guys, that's all I got. I just want y'all to recognize, trying to fill void. You're exactly right. A lot of times we get in relationships to fill the void. Oh, right? Because we tell ourselves things like, I can't be alone, right? Or, what else? Because there's a lot of negative stories we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough, right? So the I'm not good enough story will definitely have you in relationships where you are settling. Yo, you know what? I've heard at least 2 of my guy friends say, I've been to jail before. So because I've been to jail before, I can pretty much put up with anything. But guess what? We don't want a life like that. Like, we don't want a life where we're just like, yeah, this is, I can get by, I think I can wake up every day and do this. No, we want the best life possible. And it's out there. Don't mind my wine. Nobody wants to be alone. Shoot. Level up said, I don't want to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone. And right now, you guys, so yesterday was 11/11, right? So 11/11 with the 2 double numbers is kind of like it's like an energy portal. So now is a really great time to manifest those relationships that you want. Start to think of what it is that you want and put that energy out there, right? And we also talked about thinking the other day, and we don't want to fall into like those self-fulfilling prophecies that say, oh, I always choose this type of women, or all women, or this, that, or the other. We want to have more of a positive outlook on our relationships, because we can have healthy relationships. Relationships are really not that hard. We just need to heal and be healthy. And I was saying the other day, I know that's right. That's why you look all happy with your grandbaby. She better be treating you good. She better be treating you good. So that's good. So what was I saying? I forgot. Relationships. I forgot, y'all. I forgot. But yeah, I just want to encourage you guys. I want y'all to stay prayed up, especially my good. I know that's right. I want y'all to stay prayed up, right? I want y'all to beware that bitches be out here doing black magic and shit whenever it's time to get out of the relationship. They want to prolong the process and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, I just want y'all to be careful. I just want y'all to be protected. I want y'all to protect yourselves. I want y'all to pray, right? And I want y'all to not take, like, don't take these people for, yeah, it's one. Don't take these people, like, I know I sound dramatic, but y'all, it is dramatic. Shit. Like, don't take these people for granted. Like, I got on my live the other day. See, I don't discriminate. I got on my live the other day. Hey, Miss Kia Star. I got on my live the other day, and I gave my personal story about being married to a narcissist for 7 years. So, you know, I talked about my experience, right, from the female perspective, but you know, a lot of men are dealing with very, very, very narcissistic women, and I feel like the women, the women are worse. The women are worse than the men going out of the relationship. They're worse. Like, they are the worst. And for those who have attached themselves to a distorted feminine, like, their trauma is like, it goes so deep that it's almost like they're like female narcissists. They have no empathy. They don't care about anything except material gain. So please, y'all, now is not the time to be flirting around with gold diggers. And, you know, a lot of times getting into those relationships, people feel like, oh, I'm gonna get with her because, yo, she bout it. She the Bonnie to my Clyde. You know, she down for whatever. If she's down for whatever, like, at this, I mean, I'm 40 something, so I'm figuring everybody on here is like around my age. Yo, at 40 something, 40 plus something, like, we should not be getting with women because they just let us do whatever we want. Like, if you're settling for a bitch that's gonna let you do whatever the fuck you want to, then you know that you are not at a point in your life where you're striving to be your best self, and you should be, right? 2020 taught us to not take life for granted. So we want to stop staying in these toxic relationships. They killing us. That's the thing. They're killing us. Like, these women out here be doing black magic. When they do black magic, like, you are affected. Like, you lose something major, whether it's your memory, whether it's like a piece of your creativity. Like, y'all, it is not, a piece of pussy is not worth it, okay? And the reality is, that's the only thing they got. Like, all they have is their sexuality. Like, all they have is their sexuality, right? And then they make you feel as though you love them because you feel addicted to them. But no, you're not. You're addicted to that toxic up and down cycle. That's what keeps you in. And then whenever you get ready to get out of the relationship, you feel so like, oh my God. Like, the thought of getting out of it is so painful and heavy on your heart. So and you know what? Let me say this. I'm not saying, let me be very, very clear. I'm not saying it's easy. It is actually very hard. That is why I'm on here, because I just want to be like a light, because this shit is hard, right? It's hard. And when they turn everybody against you, it's just like, who the fuck do I have, right? So I just want to let y'all know that, like, this shit is real. You not by yourself. It really is happening. And yeah. And reach out to your people. Pray. And put boundaries in place. If you need to go to therapy, go to therapy. Deal with your childhood traumas, right? A lot of us have to look at the things that happened to us in our childhood. We may need to forgive our parents, right? We may need to look at what happened to us, because some of us that have been through sexual abuse or things of that nature, we may have a distorted view of sexuality, right? That can also breed people that feel like they're sex addicts or something like that, because the reality is, when you were a little person, like, that side of you was opened up when it shouldn't have been, right? And then also, too, what happened is there were boundaries that were violated. So it also teaches you to have poor boundaries, right? So, you know, there's a lot of things that we have to heal from our childhood, and it's not bad, you know, like, we're not shading anybody's family or their parents. They did the best that they could, right? However, it's still some things that happen. Like if we didn't have parents that were encouraging, like who told us who we were, told us that we were somebody and that we were great and we were wonderful and we were smart and we were able and we were capable, right? We were smart enough. We were good enough. We could do it. We could succeed. Like we didn't have that. What if we didn't have that, right? So then like now I grow up and I don't think that I'm enough. And even when I have all of these things and I've acquired certain things in life, I still don't feel deep down inside that I'm lovable. So I just want to let y'all know that y'all are lovable and you are capable, right? And you do deserve the best. And if you haven't come into that realization, then I want you to start doing some self-love, right? And pray and ask God, your higher power, the universe, whoever it is that you pray to, ask him to show you yourself through his eyes, right? Your creator, because he created you to be something amazing, right? And the thing is, we come into this world and we go through trauma and all of that stuff, and then we just start to identify with our trauma and we start to identify with our experiences, right? But yet there's a whole nother level of spirituality that brings you closer to your higher self, right? The person that you were created to truly, truly be once you got past all of the lessons that you learned as you went through your toxic cycle in life. Because some of us who believe in reincarnation and matters of the soul, some of us believe that we chose our karma. We chose what lessons it was that we wanted to learn in life. And as we go through those lessons, we start to awaken and remember what it was that we agreed to forget, which is that we chose to be here for a time such as this. Those will be people that are considered light workers, star seeds, things like that. And we're basically here to be teachers, right? To be artists, to be creatives, to make music that make people feel good, to be teachers that teach people positive things about your vibrations and how to heal and things like that. And just basically be a healing force and be a light, because the world needs more light, right? Because more light, there's less killing. And ultimately, we have to get to some less killing, guys. And I know people say that, oh, it's killing and it won't stop, but there are those of us that are here to do something, no matter how big or small. Like, you have some contribution to this world, right? So you may be a person that, like, you're a peacemaker. So like, y'all all standing out on the corner and you being there may be the difference between it being a shootout, right? Because you're gifted, right? You carry the light. So I don't want you guys to take for granted the light that you carry, or take for granted the gifts that you have. Just because nobody ever told you that you weren't good enough or that they were proud of you, I'll tell you, I am proud of y'all, and I want y'all to get on y'all assignments. I don't look at it all. Yes, I was 44. I agree with you. Just say it for the people in the back. I know people be moving too damn fast. Hey, sweetheart, how do you stay so positive? How do I stay so positive? I mind my thoughts, right? I mind my thoughts. I label my emotions. I try not to listen to negative stories in my head, because I realize that a lot of how we go about life has to do with our mindset, right? So I try to keep a very positive mindset. And in doing that, that requires, it just requires you being emotionally, intelligent. And I feed myself things that keep me upbeat. I ground, I go outside, I sit in nature, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just very intentional. I eat good, I try to eat good food. All of those things come into play, singing, dancing, those keeps your vibrations high. Like, just being very, very intentional in life, living a life of gratitude, you know, always remembering what I can be grateful for regardless to the situation, right? Yeah, I think that's about it. But yeah, you guys, so it has been amazing hanging out with y'all. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. If you like what I had to say, share the video. And just know that I love you, right? And if nobody ever told you that you are capable and you are able, I am telling you that you are capable and you are able. And God created you to be amazing, right? He created you to be amazing, and He created you to do amazing things. And only you can do what it is that you were created to do, right? All right, so I will see you wonderful, beautiful, amazing, and gifted people probably tomorrow. All right? Y'all have a good night. Peace.